Hey there and welcome back to Sims Sunday. My name is Pete and this is the series in which we complete The Sims 3. And we're starting this episode off with a bit of building. In the last episode we bought ourselves the Summerhill Springs lot right in front of our house, and today we're going to upgrade that to level 3. So I have switched back to daylight, and the first thing we're going to place is a picnic table. That fulfills the first upgrade requirement, but we also need to spend a bit more money. And I have decided to build something that resembles a fishing shack. So we're going to start out with a 4x4 room and then add an L-shaped 4x6 wall right next to it. Inside the 4x4 we will also put a separating wall in the middle and then give all of it a nice wooden wall texture. I would also love to have a wooden floor, so let's place that next and switch it up in creator style to match the tone of the wall a bit better. Then it's time to put a door in the shack, and we're going with a cheap one, but we're also going to change that a bit. Up next, a 2-wide archway, which allows easy access into the fishing area. The shack itself will get a flat roof, and we're going to cover that with a light tar and gravel texture. Now let's add a bit of decoration, and even though it's just a pool rules sign, it might also state the rules for swimming in the lake here. And should people decide to swim here, we also need a bit of first aid, so let's add a life preserver as well as a medicine cabinet. As with every good public spot, we also want to add a trash can, and now we can get to work on the inside of the shack. And the first priority is of course lighting. After that we can place a toilet, because we also need that to upgrade to level 3, and while we picked a rather cheap toilet, for the sink we'll go all out and buy the most expensive one. I just think it fits very nicely into the overall wooden theme. Now let's add a mirror here as well. And then we can also decorate the place with a plant from the family inventory. That might have been one that Ayesha dug up from the trash last episode. Now the other half of the shack of course also needs some lighting, and on this side we're going to put down a fireplace. That should keep the place nice and warm. Now of course we should also give the place a window or two. And actually let's remove that second one again, because we can put a much smaller one in there, which then goes pretty nicely with these blinds. And since we have a toilet here, I think that's a good decision. Now the shack needs to get power from somewhere, so let's also place a small electrical box outside. Now to complete the bathroom area, let's place some towels next, and of course switch them up a bit in creative style. And now let's begin to work on the fishing area next, and we can start by placing a kitchen counter and edit that slightly in creative style. Then we can place 2 more and have ourselves a nice working surface in the back. That might be used for example for gutting fish or preparing bait. Let's also add a clock, because well, once you start fishing you tend to forget about time a bit. Then from the family inventory let's add a hanging plant over here, and then let's place a few chairs. Those are what the people who come here to fish can sit on. Of course, however, that would require the fish to be where the actual fishing spot is. And right now that's not the case, so let's move the fishing spawner over here. Quickly going back to live mode, we can now see that Summerhill Springs has been upgraded to level 2, and looking at the upgrade requirements we can see that we need to get the lot value up to 23,000 simoleons, and we also need to add 1 more picnic table. So let's begin with the ladder and place another picnic table on the small island here. Now a good fishing shack of course needs some fishing decoration, so let's add a wall-mounted fish, and while we are decorating let's also add this thing from the family inventory. Then let's continue on the island and place 2 grills here. And in front of the shack this lovely couch that Ayesha found in the trash. And no, I will not change that. Now of course, should somebody decide to go fishing here at night or in the early morning hours, we need some lighting for that. So let's buy 2 rather expensive streetlights here. Those should also get the lot value up a bit. Speaking of lighting, we can also put a ton of lights on the small bridge here. And then add 2 more of the 500 simoleon streetlights by the picnic tables. Now because fish and bait might need to be stored here for a while, let's move these 2 items over one spot and then add a fridge. Now the lot value is over 23,000, so let's go back to live mode and no upgrade message. Apparently we still need to spend 848 simoleons, so let's buy a rather expensive painting for the shack and also put down a parking spot. Once again we go back to live mode and once again we get no upgrade message. Seems like we still need to spend 40 simoleons, so let's place this flower on the kitchen counter, which is exactly 40 simoleons, and then see that we're still 6 simoleons short. I really don't know what causes the lot value to go down again when we enter live mode, but it is a bit annoying. Now to be on the safe side, let's just buy an aspen tree for 125 simoleons and that should do the trick. And yes, here we are, Summerhill Springs has now been upgraded to level 3. Wonderful. That means we can now begin our day in Sunset Valley, and the first one awake is Paul. He has another day of work ahead of him, and because I want him to get the promotion and because I saw what happened to Patrick, who had all 4 work requirements bright green but didn't get one, let's just be on the safe side with Paul and have him work from home for 2 hours. Alright, skipping ahead 2 hours, Paul is now done and can head back to the bedroom. Before work starts, we of course want to max out his fun bar again. And with that taken care of, he can now begin another round of potty training with Pauline.
Piranha! Scooby Barble!
In the neighboring room, Ayesha has gotten up, and for her I have special plans. Because I have decided that I do in fact want to start collecting bugs and beetles with her. And even if it takes us another death flower to complete that, it would just feel nice to have all the collecting achievements in one place with her.
Oh, Grumble Harpoo.
Now, potty training with Pauline was successful. She's not fully potty trained yet, but we'll get there. For Paul, there is no time for breakfast though, so he will just quickly eat a tomato and then teleport himself over to City Hall, and we will of course work hard to get ourselves another promotion. Meanwhile, over in the garden we can see that Patrick has already started his day, and we can help him out a bit here by activating the sprinkler. And now it's already time to collect money. And that is also the main reason why I upgraded Summerhill Springs first, because just a few hours later, now the property pays out more. Alright, I just forgot about the science facility, but now we're up from 17,000 to 82,000 simoleons. That certainly is a nice cash boost. Now Chastity is finally also well rested, and she will begin her day by feeding Pauline, cleaning out the potty chair. We quickly get interrupted by Patrick, who has just reached level 9 of the gardening skill. But back to Chastity though, after cleaning out the fridge, she can now grab herself some breakfast. And Patrick has finished his tour through the garden, so for him it's now time to take a shower. He can then also prepare himself some breakfast, and in the top right corner we can see that Pauline has reached the first level of the music skill. I doubt we'll need it, but we didn't really have anything better to do for her. But now that Chastity has a bit of time, we can continue the potty training process. Alright, first round complete. Chastity will quickly clean things up, and then we can do the whole thing again. And just a few moments later, we have successfully potty trained Pauline. Congratulations! Outside, Patrick is quickly paying the bills and grabbing the mail, before he can now sit down on the bench with another bait book. He has the next 4 days off, so we might as well use those to increase his skills a bit. A few meters over, Chastity has once again cleaned up the mess from Pauline's potty chair and will now also begin skill learning with the logic book. Now let's jump over to Paul, whose workday has come to an end, and it looks like it was a successful one. Yep, here it is, another promotion for him. Now campaign funding is once again the issue, but we can solve that by throwing a campaign fundraiser, and he has tomorrow off, so I think we'll be able to handle that. After arriving back home, he can grab something to eat, while it is finally time for Chastity to head back to work again. With both marriage and pregnancy, she had a long while off, and now we can teleport her over to the theater and set her to chill with her musician co-workers, because she's pretty much guaranteed a promotion anyway. After eating and taking a shower, it is now time for Paul to take care of his daughter again. Pauline can quickly have her diapers changed, and then Paul can continue to write his romance novel. Outside, after a long while of reading, Patrick finally learns the bait for death fish and vampire fish, and I think let's actually work on his fishing skill a bit more and send him over to one of the lakes that holds piranha fishes and have him catch a few of those. For the amateur Ichthyologist skill challenge in the fishing skill, we need to catch one of every fish, and I would like him to get 1 or 2 more on the list tonight. Back at home, Pauline's bladder need is increasing, and we can now have her use the potty chair for the first time all by herself. And now that she's done, Paul can come over and feed her, and also clean out the potty chair. Then let's jump over to the theater, where Chastity's workday comes to an end. And as expected, she gets promoted to Music Talent Scout, also fulfilling 2 wishes in the process. Now at home, Paul has put Pauline back in her crib, and he will also go to bed after a day of hard work. If you're wondering where Ayesha is, by the way, yes, she is still outside collecting bugs, beetles and butterflies. Now Chastity has returned home and will grab a slice of cake for dinner. Afterwards, she can have a quick shower and then proceed to spend the rest of the evening with the logic skill book. Patrick in the meantime has changed fishing spots. He has moved from the lake to the sea, and here he will now go for blowfish. Once again, just a few of them, and then he can return home. Home is also where Ayesha finally arrives after a long day of collecting, and she will quickly grab some lobster for dinner and then head to bed. Speaking of dinner, Patrick also has not eaten yet, and after a long day of fishing, what fits better than preparing himself some sushi?
Lorgle! Huh? Lorgle?
Alright, Patrick has finished eating, that means he will now go off to bed as well, and Chastity levels up in the logic skill, which means she can now also go to bed. And that also means that we can make a cut here. I don't know if you noticed it, to be honest, but I apologize for my slightly raspy voice today. I had a bit of a long evening yesterday. So let me now wrap things up by saying thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!